Welcome back. Today, we're going to talk about something that you might feel kind of guilty about, but you really, really shouldn't. I'm talking about keeping your phone on Do Not Disturb permanently. Yeah, let's get into it. You know that sound, right? That sharp, buzzing vibration on your nightstand at like 11 p.m. when you've just settled down. It just shatters the peace. Now, for most people, it's an automatic reflex to just grab the phone. But for some of us, that sound feels like an intruder. And if that's you, your phone has probably been on silent for a very long time. And let's be honest, if you are one of those people, you've probably felt a little guilty about it. You've probably wondered, am I being cold? Am I antisocial because I refuse to be on call for the entire world 24/7? Well, what if I told you that it's not a flaw at all? What if that urge you have to protect your quiet isn't some social failing, but actually a sign of something much, much deeper, something powerful? Okay, this is where we get to flip the script entirely. Because according to research from places like Harvard and Stanford, if you're someone who craves that digital silence, you're not broken. It's more like you're running a very specific and pretty rare kind of psychological software. It's not a bug, it's a feature. So why do some of our brains crave silence so intensely? Well, it pretty much boils down to three core traits. Three things that explain why you process the world in a totally different way. Let's break them down. Okay, reason number one, you're probably wired for what we could call ultra-high definition processing. Think about it like this. About 20% of us experience the world in 4K, while most people are on standard def. You're just picking up on signals and subtleties that literally fly right by everyone else. And this all has to do with your amygdala. Think of it as your brain's overeager security system. So when a notification goes off, you're not being dramatic, your amygdala is just doing its job. It's screaming, hey, something just changed in the environment, and it yanks you right out of rest mode. It's exactly like throwing a stone into a perfectly still pond. That single buzz isn't just a buzz. It sends ripples across your entire mental space. It shatters the calm and forces your brain to go back on high alert. And here's the key. That's not you overreacting, that is a biological fact. All right, so that leads us right into the second trait, cognitive load. Because every single social interaction, and yes, that includes a simple text, takes up a surprising amount of mental energy. It's kind of like being a project manager for a million tiny projects all at once. There's actually a term for this. Psychologists call it ego depletion. Just picture it. Every time your phone lights up, your brain kicks into overdrive, running all these calculations. What's the tone of this message? How should I respond? What are they really asking? And all of that drains your mental fuel from the exact same very limited gas tank. You know, the best way to think about it is like computer RAM. Leaving notifications on is like having 50 tabs and a dozen apps running in the background. Everything just gets sluggish and slow, right? So when you hit Do Not Disturb, you're not being lazy. You're consciously freeing up your mental RAM. You're giving yourself the space to actually think, to focus. And that brings us to our third and final trait. This one is really fascinating, and it's rooted in a classic idea from sociology, the need to protect your backstage self. So, a sociologist named Erving Goffman had this great idea. He said our lives are split into a front stage, that's where we perform for everybody else, and a backstage, which is our private space where we can finally relax and recharge. You know, your home, your quiet time, that's your backstage. It's where the performance is supposed to stop. But think about what a smartphone does. It completely demolishes that boundary. It turns your backstage into a front stage at any second, without your consent. And that's why using Do Not Disturb is so important. It's an act of what psychologists call privacy regulation. You're not hiding. You're just being intentional. You're deciding who gets a ticket to your backstage and when. Okay, so this is where we need to have a little honest check-in with ourselves. Because there is a very fine line between seeking peace and just hiding out of fear. And the key here is really understanding your why. Are you running towards peace, choosing silence so you can recharge, focus, and be your best self? That's healthy solitude. Or are you running from vulnerability, hiding behind D&D because you're scared of what people might say, of conflict, of what real connection actually asks of you? Which direction are you running? That's a question only you can answer, but the answer really, really matters. Figuring out that why is what makes sure this amazing tool is serving you instead of accidentally isolating you. Because here's the thing, when you choose silence for the right reasons, it's not some small, empty act. No, it's a powerful declaration. It's choosing to live a deliberate life. Our entire culture screams about FOMO, right? The fear of missing out. But what if you aren't actually missing out? Yeah, you're not missing out. You're opting out. Opting out of a system that was literally designed to steal your attention and suck your energy dry, all for somebody else's bottom line. And that's really the heart of it all. Your value as a person has absolutely nothing to do with how available you are 24/7. That quiet life you've built for yourself, it's not a small life. It's a deliberate one. It's one where you get to decide what truly matters. So, I'll leave you with this to chew on. If any of this felt familiar to you today, when was the moment you realized that your need for silence wasn't a weakness at all? When did you realize it was actually your superpower?